Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Breaking tonight, the University of Michigan heading to court to try to get head football coach Jim Harbaugh back on the sidelines tomorrow at noon. Tonight, the university has filed a temporary restraining order to try to put Harbaugh's 3-game ban on hold.
Bernie's here with the latest as this saga continues here.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Well, here we go. The University of Michigan has filed a temporary restraining order, as David said, against the Big Ten's decision to suspend Jim Harbaugh over the sign-stealing scandal. We've got highlights of Harbaugh. Big Ten suspended him for the remaining 3 games of the regular season. Conference said Harbaugh broke the Big Ten sportsmanship policy. At this moment, Harbaugh would miss tomorrow's Penn State game, next week's game at Maryland, and the final game against Ohio State here. Now, if Michigan is able to get the restraining order prior to the game tomorrow, Harbaugh will be coaching on the sidelines against the Nittany Lions. The Big Ten did say in a 13-page statement, no direct connection between Harbaugh and the scandal has been found, but as head coach, he is responsible. And if you're wondering why the action was taken today, Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti wrote he believed immediate action was necessary because of the extraordinary nature of the offending conduct. This was a years-long operation of in-person scouting that took place year after year after year.
This is really complex given what's in front of the Wolverines, having maybe their best season in a couple of decades here and a threat to win the national championship. And Jim Harbaugh already missed a handful of games at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, so that'll be 6 games if this ends up being the way it is. And that's half the season. Yeah, you're right. But this is so wild because the restraining order hasn't come out yet. But tomorrow I can see getting the restraining order 15 minutes before the game, and then here comes Jim Harbaugh running out, and then here we go. Well, you know,
with 4 attorneys running behind him instead of the team. All right, Bernie will have more coming up in sports. Meanwhile, as you would well expect, Ann Arbor is alive tonight with this. Free Harbaugh T-shirts and free Jim Harbaugh chants.
Yeah, Mar McDonald live tonight. Mar, students and fans are rallying behind their coach.
Kimberly, I'll tell you what, if the Big Ten has accomplished anything tonight, it has galvanized the students, the regents, the president, the entire athletic department, as well as the football team to stand firmly behind Coach Jim Harbaugh. The chant, it rang through Yost tonight, and the incredulity,
I'm kind of surprised that they took action so fast,
was everywhere on campus, along with this hot seller.
It's a pretty bold play. I think I saw their press release. They said they did this even though they don't have any evidence that Harbaugh knew. I don't really know how you can punish him for that if there's no evidence. I think it's pretty preemptive, and I think they should have waited to see some real evidence before suspending our head coach.
And when you're the best, everyone's coming for the throne and for the crown. So not surprised with what they did and not worried about it. I think the team will still close out the season strong.
The team has its own take upon landing at Penn State for this weekend's game and finding out what the Big Ten did. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy tweeting this out. Bet. Tom Brady, for one, agrees. What it means? Boy, are we going to show you.
I think it's ridiculous. I think every team should be scouting the other teams that they're playing in the season. It's part of the game. If you're not doing it, then you're not playing to the best of your ability. I'm confident in the team without him, but I mean, you can't take the captain away and say nothing's going to change. So I would prefer to see him there, but I think the team, the culture that he set is still there, so it's not going to hurt it that much, but I don't know. I obviously want him in the stadium.
Back here live, how strong is the free Harbaugh sentiment on campus? The large sizes in these T-shirts, they're already sold out. Kimberly, Devin, back to you.
Quick turnaround on those T-shirts, too. Okay, Mara, we appreciate it.
Why didn't we think of that?
No.
Well, another Michigan university is dealing with a major shakeup tonight. Wayne State University's provost and senior vice president for academic affairs, Mark Hornblue, has been suspended with pay. We're told the suspension follows a whistleblower complaint, internal inquiry, and consultation with the Wayne State Board of Governors. But the specifics of those complaints not known at this hour. The investigation into Hornblue ongoing, we are told.
Scary moments for people getting gas this morning after a shooting in St. Clair Shores. Police say they were called to the gas station near 9 Mile and Harper about 8:45, and they found one victim with a gunshot wound who was conscious and able to share some information. Police, though, don't have a description yet of the shooter. They say any relationship between the two is unknown.
It has been 48 years tonight since the Edmund Fitzgerald went down in a storm in Lake Superior. 29 lives were lost in the wreck in 1975, and every year since, their lives have been honored. Jacqueline Francis is live on Belle Isle, where they have the anchor from the Fitz. Jacqueline.
That they do, and when you see how big this anchor is, it makes you realize just how massive the ship was. It's here at the Dawson Great Lakes Museum at Belle Isle. They had a ceremony here tonight honoring the 29 lives lost and the folk singer who immortalized the tragedy in song. Tonight, the bell rings 29 times to honor the lives lost on the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Bruce L. Hudson.
From the shores of Superior to the banks of the Detroit River, memorial services were held.
There are people around here that knew people on the boat. That's tough. So they come, they show up, they tell their stories.
48 years ago, the freighter went down in Lake Superior during a brutal storm. This year, the tributes made more significant by the loss of the man who made it world famous.
Superior, they said, never gives up redid when the gales of November come early.
The Canadian folk singer Gordon Lightfoot died in May.
Hundreds of beautiful songs, but the one that he's probably best known for is the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. He made that wreck, and he made the Great Lakes Maritime world famous.
It's said that Lightfoot wrote the song after being drawn to media coverage of the tragedy.
And by assembling news clippings and the Newsweek story and getting everything in chronological order, over a few weeks, the lyrics began to be scribbled on a legal pad.
He kept in touch with survivors. He showed up at memorial ceremonies like ours, and even changed the words to the song so that to make it most correct as we learn more about the wreck.
The church bell chimed till it rang 29 times. Courage man on the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Such a cool story. And the story behind this anchor here is that it was actually at the bottom of the Detroit River. It broke off the ship a year before the wreck, and then in the 90s they went and they brought it back up to be part of this memorial here. Reporting live from Belle Isle, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
Yeah, the first anniversary of the wreck without Gordon Lightfoot around to help us mark the occasion. All right, Jacqueline.
A step in the right direction. That's how President Biden describes Israel's agreement to allow daily 4-hour pauses from the bombing in Gaza, allowing civilians to get out of target range. So far, tens of thousands of Palestinians have fled through a designated safe route. Meanwhile, horrific video shows bloodied patients on the floor after the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza City was bombarded today. Israel denies this attack, but over the last few days, Israeli tanks have pummeled parts of Gaza, targeting hospitals and refugee camps.
Get ready for some slowdowns and closures this weekend across Metro Detroit, especially north of towns. Right now, southbound I-75 is temporarily shut down between Saginaw Road and Dixie Highway. Workers are going to be making repairs all weekend. That means traffic will be detoured onto Dixie Highway until the highway fully reopens, but that should happen by 5 a.m. on Monday.
Got detours to contend with.
Yep.
Hopefully the weather is not too much of a hindrance for folks out and about this weekend. Kim?
It's just going to be really cold. In fact, if you're headed out tonight to walk the dog or maybe just take a walk, you're going to want to take along the winter jacket because it's already down to 41 in Pontiac, also in Howell and in Ann Arbor, 43 at the airport and 47 downtown. Now tomorrow we start out right at freezing, 32 degrees. That's at the airport. We forecast for the airport because that's where records are kept. But some of the suburbs could be as low as the upper 20s tomorrow morning. Sunshine will help warm us, but only to highs in the mid to upper 40s. So about 3 or 4 degrees below normal for this time of year. So the weather story, it is going to be a cold weekend with those highs only in the upper 40s, but warmer by next week with temperatures getting back above normal in the upper 50s. And we're going to talk about the next chance for rain coming in later on in the week. We'll do all that in just a few minutes.